Welcome to Conversations Different, a podcast from the Santa Fe New Mexican about the interesting people, places, and issues of northern New Mexico. I am Inez Russell Gomez, and once again, we are going to talk about the wonderful Zia Singers and an upcoming concert. We have John Tiranno with us, and he will tell us all about what's happening in May. Welcome, John.
Thank you for having me once again. I appreciate it.
Well, we're excited. I'm female, and I lived in Washington D.C. for a while, so the topic of this concert is pretty interesting to me. So It's called "She the People."
She the People. It's a concert honoring American women in history. And the centerpiece of the concert is a piece called Washington Women. Nice. And it's a 12-movement choral song cycle that features the writings, opinions of 16 influential women who spent the majority of their life living, working in Washington, D.C. And it's, all the way back to Abigail Adams and all the way far forward to Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama. And we have Supreme Court justices, first ladies, congresswomen, 16 from both sides of the aisle, influential women who have a unifying message in this piece, at least. It is a message of hope and unity, and something that I thought was appropriate and needed these days.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of a good time to have sort of a political concert since we are in a primary season in New Mexico, and that'll be the weekend before voting because June 2nd is the voting, and I think the concert is the weekend.
Yeah, May 30 and 31 here in Santa Fe. I would say that, of course, it seems like a political concert, but I have been working really hard to try to convince the singers that this is not a political concert. Yes, of course, the women that we are singing about and singing their words, I should say, are known for their time in politics. But as I mentioned a second ago, this is not a left and right versus right kind of thing. This is a very unifying message. And we have women on the right and women on the left who are preaching hope and love and unity, and so, yes, it sounds political, Washington women, of course, but it is really more of a message of hope and unity and togetherness.
Well, honestly, that's the most important political message we need right now because our politics is so fractured. This might remind us that at one point, even if people disagreed or had different political philosophies, they still could have a vision of hope and promise for the future. So yeah. I think that's really important. And who are some of the women? You said Abigail Adams and Kamala and Michelle Obama.
I don't want to leave anybody out, so I'm going to just make sure I read you the list. So we have Condoleezza Rice, Elena Kagan, Eleanor Roosevelt, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Margaret Chase Smith, Shirley Chisholm, Laura Bush, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Sandra Day O'Connor, Abigail Adams, Madeleine Albright, Barbara Bush, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and Michelle Obama. And so it's 12 movements made up of 16, the words of 16 women. So in some of the movements, it's two women's words that are sort of melded together. We have a nice explanation of where these quotes come from in the program, so you'll understand when the people said what they said and what it was pertaining to. And it's a really inspirational piece. The ladies in the Zia Singers have been loving rehearsing it and have been rather emotional. There's some stuff in here that makes you think and makes you long for different things than we're having right now sometimes, and better situations, and so it's been tough. A few of them have said to me, how am I supposed to sing if I'm getting emotional, if I'm crying, if I'm thinking? I said, well, it's tough, it's emotional. Singing when you're emotional is not easy. So I said, just think of something else, baseball. I don't know, something else that's going to keep your mind off of it, and just try to sing these words and share this message.
Excuse me. No, I think that's It's good to be emotional though, and to think about our better nature. I remember the day Sandra Day O'Connor was nominated for the Supreme Court. I was an intern reporter in San Angelo, Texas, and there was maybe one or two female lawyers in town, and I had to find one to get a comment for the afternoon paper because we had an afternoon paper. And I ran to City Hall and grabbed her out of a meeting and got a comment, and then ran back because there were no cell phones. I couldn't text in.
Text her, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
But I found her, and we got the comment.
Yeah.
And now you think about how many women are lawyers, and there's not just one in a meeting that you have to pull out. And it really is a reminder of progress in terms of equality, in terms of opportunity.
This piece is written by two composers, David Chase and Judith Klurman. And Judy and I are friends. I worked with Judy a long time when I lived in New York City. She is the conductor and director of a group called Essential Voices USA, but was on faculty at Juilliard, and I think is currently on faculty at Manhattan School of Music, and is a composer, conductor, singer. And so we worked together a long time, and I've done many projects with Judy, recorded many of her compositions and arrangements, a lot of which actually are political in nature, and then David Chase is a longtime Broadway, composer, arranger. He's been involved with over 40 Broadway shows, has Emmy nominations, Grammy nominations, just a major player in this kind of music. And so they've come together, and they've done a bunch of work together before, but this is this is the first, I think, major choral work, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, which is so nice for us here in Santa Fe with the Zia Singers, it was written for SATB voices, so women and men's voices. And when I heard it, I just thought, boy, this is something that would be right up the alley of our Zia Singers. So I wrote to Judy and said, hey, any chance you have a treble voice arrangement just for the high voices, and if not, would you consider doing one? And she says, well, we don't have one currently, but let me talk to David. Let me see what we can do. And she got back to me quickly and said, you know what, we're going to do it. And so they, essentially arranged this for treble voices at our request. And I think since then, they've actually had a second treble group sign on to perform it. I don't know if they've done it already or if ours will be the first treble performance of it, but it's a lovely work, and it's really powerful. It's about 30 minutes. It's got solo cello, a pretty significant cello part in it, actually. We have Santa Fe cellist Dana Winograd, who's going to be playing these performances with us. And so I'm super excited to present this to the community.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty special. So this is a unique version of this work that we're going to see in Santa Fe, and done because you requested it. So that's going to be exciting. And it's fun, I think, for the community to see something by prominent contemporary composers and librettists and everything, yet here in our town, because we're so used to resurrecting pieces from the past, which is a wonderful thing to do also, but this is something new.
Yeah, this whole season with the Zia Singers has been centered on women. Which I think makes perfect sense given we are a women's chorus. The winter concerts were all the music that we performed was written by female composers, women composers. So they were the composers of the music, and they were all modern day. I don't think anyone was. I think they were all pretty much, current day composers. But then, we shift the focus a little bit in this concert, not to the work of these women, but to the words of influential and powerful women. And this was that's just the first half of the concert. We do have a second half of the concert with a lot of other music centered on women, also on democracy, on sisterhood, on just all the things that kind of blend well together. I'm happy to tell you about those songs too.
Oh no, we'll get into them. It's a good year to do this in terms of the fact that the United States is celebrating its 250th anniversary as well.
Right.
And we all know that Abigail Adams was really important in the founding of the country.
Sure. For sure. Yeah. No, it's great that we, truly most of the women that we're singing the words of are from the last 50, 60, 70 years, but it is nice to have at least, something that goes back that far to Abigail.
Yes, no, that's important. All right, we'll take a quick break and be back in a moment with more Conversations Different.
We make renewable doable. We're positive energy solar for a cleaner, brighter future for all. Positive energy's the right call. Feel good about your energy bill. Help save the planet too. Your trusted solar company, working hard for you. Generate positive energy. Positive energy solar.
We are back with Conversations Different, talking to John about She the People and the spring concert from the Zia Singers. Let's talk about the other pieces that also are centered on women with female voices, of course, telling the story or singing the story.
Yeah. So the second half of the concert is made up of a bunch of songs that talk about women empowerment, about sisterhood, about democracy, and in fact, one of the second to last song on the program, we're going to do an arrangement of Dolly Parton's famous 9 to 5. And it was funny. I was putting the concert together, and our choir president, Sheila Hyde, said to me, she says, we're honoring and focusing, attention on a lot of very powerful, influential women, and rightfully so. She goes, but maybe we should sing something that honors, the every woman, the working class woman, and I said, that's a great idea. You have anything in mind? And of course she did. She said, yeah, we were thinking about 9 to 5. And I said, great, let's do it. So we have a fun arrangement of that. We're doing a piece called What Happens When a Woman, and it's a piece written by a woman, Alexandria Olsavsky, excuse me if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, but she's part of a vocal trio based in Chicago area, and it's very woman strength and power. We're doing a piece called "This Is What Democracy Looks Like," which has been done with the Justice Choir in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Also kind of a timely piece. We're doing a piece called "I Lift My Lamp," which is from the new Colossus by Emma Lazarus. The text comes from that piece. We're doing a piece called "Set Myself Free" by a composer named Melissa Dunphy. Now, we did a piece by Melissa on the last concert as well called "Wild Embers." And this piece was commissioned by a New York City treble choir about 6 years ago or so, to commemorate the 19th Amendment, the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. Nice. So, and we're finishing with a piece called "Better Days," which has many people that are attributed to writing it, but famously Ant Clemens and Justin Timberlake are the two names that most people would recognize. So yeah, it's an uplifting, hopeful concert. I keep using these words, but these are the best words to describe what it is that we're doing. And we have percussionist Michael Chavez joining us, and as I said in the previous segment, cellist Dana Winograd, who will be joining me, and our collaborative pianist Deborah Wagner.
I like that there's a mix of styles. So people are going to be tapping their feet as well as, maybe sitting more politely as they listen. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, when I was given this job last year, this is my end of my second year now as our artistic director, I was told, okay, well, the fall concerts are a little more serious, a little more classical, and the spring concerts can be a little lighter, a little more pop oriented or theater oriented, So okay, so I sort of stuck with that for last year and tried to follow along with that, and I think I'm sticking fairly close to that again this time. But yeah, trying to incorporate a little bit of everything while we do that. One thing I noticed at the last concert, our spring concert last year, was a trip down the golden age of musical theater. And
right.
one thing that I wish I had thought of was to program at least one of the songs as a sing-along, because we had plenty of people singing along, whether we wanted them to or not. And in fact, there are people sitting right close to me as I'm, conducting. I hear people singing along. So there is a moment in this concert. I won't say when or what. Now you'll have to come to the concerts and to participate. But there is a little bit of a sing-along moment in this concert as well. So
that'll be fun.
From past mistakes, yes.
No, that's a good one, and people will. I mean, everyone knows the words to 9 to 5, whether that's a sing along moment or not. So we'll see.
I can't tell you. You got to come to the concert.
Oh dear, I hate not knowing. That's terrible. What are some of the bits of wisdom that will be in the songs from the powerful women? Do you have any off the top of your head?
I do have a list here. I wanted, like I said earlier, I didn't want to leave anybody out. There's some of the most important ones. If I just have a chance to, the last piece I will just say is my favorite. It's in movement 12. It's called "I Am Ever Hopeful" / "I Want a President." These are texts from Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Michelle Obama, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg's quote, it's just one sentence, but she says, quote, "I am ever hopeful that if the court has a blind spot today, its eyes will be open tomorrow," which she gave in an interview with Katie Couric in July of 2014. And it's one sentence. It's very powerful. And it's a beautiful setting of it. And then it just melds beautifully into this just lovely lyric legato passage, text from Michelle Obama's Democratic National Convention speech in 2016, where she says, "I want a president who will teach our children that everyone in this country matters. A president who truly believes in the vision that our founders put forth all those years ago, that we are all created equal, each a beloved part of the great American story." And that's, for me, that's the part that gets me emotional. I don't know what the Zia Singers were, there's lots of different things that are worthy of that. But, hearing these words, I have 4 children and 2 little ones and 2 teenagers, and thinking about the future, and what I want for them and my students, and just myself, frankly, and everyone, it's hard not to agree with her. I think, whether you're a right side or left side, I mean, I think that's a really well said hope, and that's what I hope for. Yeah.
And it definitely is important to hear things like that right now, because that's not what the world feels like. Again, whether you're right or left or anything, to believe in the vision of America is to believe that we are a country of ideas, not a place of blood and soil. And we have to fight for that. For so long, I think we took it for granted that this is what we all thought. And it turns out not everybody does think that. So it's time to remember those inspiring words and get to work for it.
And that's, again, why I said earlier that sure, Michelle Obama, people connect her to the, Democratic side of politics, of course, her husband and herself. But that's the message I don't think is political. It's just, why would you not want a president or any leader, that believes in these things and wants these things for our children and for our country, our world. So that was one that stuck out. Looking here quickly, Condoleezza Rice at the Republican National Convention in 2012, we used her words, quote, "The essence of America, that which really unites us, is not ethnicity or nationality or religion. It is an idea. And what an idea it is, that you can come from humble circumstances and do great things." And that's actually the first piece of the work. So maybe 2 of my favorites that sort of bookend the piece itself. But that's someone from the right side of the aisle. Again, I couldn't agree more. So.
Yeah, and that is something that we have to remember as we celebrate this 250th anniversary. That America was an idea and an aspiration, and we ever move toward living up to all of the aspirations, in the original documents and even the ones that weren't there, because as we know, the Constitution preserved slavery. Women didn't have the right to vote. Only landowners and white men could vote. Yeah, we've made a lot of progress, and it's worth fighting for and keeping, because the reason so many people wanted to come here, as in the New Colossus in your piece, Emma Lazarus, is because we had those ideals and we wanted to reach them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a powerful concert. Once again, we're performing at Christ Church here in Santa Fe. We're doing things a little bit different this time. We've decided to add in an intermission. This will be the first set of concerts that I'm in charge of with the Zia Singers where we've had an intermission. And I think it's good for everybody, to just get a little bit of a break and get to stretch their legs and let the singers, sit for a bit and rest. And so still not a very long concert. I think about 60 minutes of music, all together, but with a bit of an intermission. And so we're looking forward to that. Christ Church is a beautiful spot. And we had beautiful concerts there in January. We're looking forward to these as well.
Oh, good. We'll take a quick break and be back in a moment with more Conversations Different.
This is Patrick Dorsey, publisher of the Santa Fe New Mexican. Looking to reach a wider audience and grow your business? For 175 years, the Santa Fe New Mexican has been the trusted voice of Santa Fe, with unmatched local reach in print and online. In addition to our long-standing, independent, family-owned newspaper, we have a full-fledged marketing team with the expertise to help you succeed in the 21st century. From traditional print to precision-targeted digital advertising, we have the tools to connect you with your ideal customers. Partner with us and see the results for yourself. Advertise with the Santa Fe New Mexican and unlock your business's full potential. Visit us at santafenewmexican.com/advertising or call us at 505-995-3852. Thank you.
We are back with Conversations Different, talking to John Tiranno about the upcoming concert for the Zia Singers. Let's talk about, with the intermission, you get to do a few things that you haven't done before. So talk about those and what people will expect when they go.
Yeah. Sure. Well, I think we're going to have some merchandise for sale. First time where we're sort of venturing off into this area. So it might not be a whole lot of stuff. We're sort of trying to figure out what might be of interest to people, but we'll have a few things there for sale. And we're also going to be sharing some information about next season. There'll be information in the program about it, but also some papers and some flyers, if you will, that people can take home. Where we have a big, exciting project in store for next year. In addition to our standard winter and spring concerts, we've been invited to perform in New York City at Carnegie Hall next spring. And so the choir is super excited. At the moment, we have about 67 singers / what they call VIPs, people who are going to travel with us as part of our party who are not maybe in the choir. I think it's 45 singers at the moment, and then 20 some odd, people coming. But we're still going to be adding people as we go. We have, almost a whole year between now and then, so we can, have people that might want to, go to Carnegie Hall. When they say, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? You join the Zia Singers. Really, that's the best way to do it. And so we'll have some information. It's a big, lift for the group and for the singers. It's not an inexpensive venture. So we're going to be doing some fundraising, to help the singers and help our group. But so we'll have some information about that and of course our concerts next season as well. So there'll be lots to see and learn about during the intermission and pre and post concert.
Oh, that'll be fun. And obviously going to Carnegie Hall, it's one of the most known performance spaces in the United States and in the world, really. So that's very exciting. How did you guys get invited there?
So there are some organizations in New York that cater to choirs all over the world, and they basically, if you submit some materials and essentially audition for the opportunity, if if they like what they hear, they'll say, hey, would you like to come and participate? So when I lived in New York, I sang on a bunch of these concerts as a soloist. My wife, Elizabeth Young, a violinist, played in the orchestra for a lot of these gigs when she lived in New York City. And so I just thought, you know what, this might be really great for us. I think the choir would enjoy it. So I submitted some materials from our concert back in January and got a speedy reply saying, hey, you guys sound wonderful. We'd love to have you. And we started looking for dates and the availability. And it turns out middle of June, I think June 13th of next year. So what we're going to have, we'll probably have a sort of send-off concert, before we go, which will be different than our fall and our winter and spring concert. We're going to, the program for New York City will include music from this current season, as well as mostly music from next season, but some pieces from this season as well. That way, if we have some new singers that join the group between now and then, they aren't too far behind as far as learning the music. And if, like I said, if anyone is interested, we're open to treble voices, women's voices, joining the group to come with us. We're looking to have a nice big group on that stage in New York City.
Okay, that's going to be a lot of fun, and it gives you a really exciting goal to work for. So
for sure,
that, and it's always nice. I know the Cathedral Choir has gone before, and different people from Santa Fe. So it's always wonderful to hear that our local people are doing things on the national stage. It's just exciting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. As you look ahead, where do people go to get tickets, for one thing, and where's your website in case they want to donate to help or do anything?
That's great. Thank you. All of that information, anything you want to know, can be found on our website. It's theziasingers.org. We took over a new website. We started a .org versus the .com, I think, back in the fall. So everything is the same except .org. So theziasingers.org, ticket information for these upcoming concerts. Very soon there'll be information up on the website about next year's concerts. We're going to announce our themes and the concert titles for next season. Looking forward to hopefully collaborating once again with NDI New Mexico. We did that this year for the very first time back in February, took part in their Spring into Motion performances, and it was a big success for us. So we're looking forward to hopefully reprising that. Ticket information, donation information, all of that can be found on theziasingers.org.
Okay. So everyone can go find that. And obviously you want to have sellouts. And I think, people in Santa Fe tend to wait to get tickets, but it sounds like this is going to be a popular show. So probably this is one time. Yeah.
Yeah. I would encourage people to get tickets early. We have a limited number of preferred seating. I don't know that there's a bad seat in the house over there at Christchurch, but there are some seats that are, perhaps a little bit nicer, a little bit better sound and visual spots. So I would encourage you to go and check out those tickets as soon as possible. We did get fairly close to selling out on the Sunday concert last time in January. So we'd love to have as many people there as possible.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you guys take a break now, or I guess gals take a break because it's the summer and
we take the summer off generally? Although this summer we're going to try and stay a little more connected. We have our first what do I want to call it? Retreat, I guess, or we're going to do a little bit of a Zia Singers retreat over the summer to get a head start on our music for next year. And being a very busy year and an exciting year, I don't want to just wait till September and get started. We're gonna keep moving. But yes, the ladies deserve a bit of a break. They do lots of traveling all throughout the year, but especially in the summertime. And so we will, after these concerts, we'll be finished with rehearsals and performances for a few months, but then right back at it in August.
And when do you announce the theme for next year?
There will be a little blurb about it in the program for the concert. So if you come to She the People, you'll find out some information about it. And then right after the concerts, we'll have some information up on the website talking about our the concert dates and the concert theme. I'm really excited about it. I think that the fall concert, just to give a hint, it sort of hits closer to home, relatively speaking. So I think that'll be nice. And then our spring concerts, the theme, we're performing around Mother's Day. It's not the Mother's Day weekend. It's going to be, I think, the weekend right before that, actually. So a little earlier than we normally perform, but we wanted to have some time to ramp up for New York. So we'll finish our spring concerts a little on the early side next year, and then have a nice long stretch to prepare for the Carnegie Hall. So just think Mother's Day, and then things that are connected to mothers, and just like the grand scheme of, Mother Earth, possibly. I've said too much already. I'm going to stop.
I have no clue what it could be. Saving
I'm not sure
mother.
what I said either. Thank you.
No, that sounds exciting, and it gives you a lot of possibilities in many ways. From climate change to sentimental songs about "I love my mom." So, you have a lot of options going forward. That'll be.
Think more of the former than the latter. I mean, nothing wrong with sentimental songs, but I think that the theme will be a little bit more towards the former. Yeah.
That's kind of what I figured, but I was, I like a couple of sappy songs, because those are the ones we know the words to.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, I hope. Have you done your end of year concerts at your school? Because I know you have a day job.
Yeah, yep. The Gonzales Community School. We have concerts. We haven't quite done them yet. Although I guess by the time this comes out, it will probably have finished them. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So you're getting everybody ready for the performance right now.
End of the year, yes. And the students say all the time, "Oh, we just can't wait for the end of the school year, Mr. Tiranno." I say, who wants the end of the school year more than you guys? Me and all the teachers. We're all ready too. Don't you think anything differently? So yeah, but it's been a lovely year here at Gonzales, and I'm looking forward to next year.
How do you tell people, this will be our last question because we're almost out of time, but how do you tell people to get ready to sing and to perform and to basically be naked in front of the crowd? Because it's a hard thing to do, even if you like to sing.
Yeah. So that's a difficult question to answer. I mean, other than to say that you just have to be bold and be brave, mm-hmm. and you need to be willing to maybe live outside of your comfort zone for a short while we're doing it, because we could be rehearsing in the classroom or in the rehearsal room and doing a great job on something, but then you move into a concert hall, you move into on a stage, there's people in the audience. It becomes a totally different experience, and it becomes nerve-wracking. I mean, yes. Students and community singers and professional singers, we all get nervous. It's normal, and how do you take those nerves and channel them for good, and instead of for bad and evil, and make them work for you, and that's not easy. I think that's my job, as a conductor, is to help the singers. I believe a conductor's job is to tell the singers when to sing and how to sing. Not what to sing. They have the music in front of them, or they've memorized the music. That's what they're singing. But when to sing. Come in here, and this is the tempo. These are the beats. That kind of stuff. And then how to do it. And I feel like my job is to emote and show them the energy and the security that they need. Give them the security they need to take that chance and open their mouths and sing. Different levels of success along the way. But I think the more we stick with it, the better and better that it gets.
Yeah. And there's something remarkable in a world where you can turn on YouTube or streaming or whatever to create your own music and to know how to do it. And I think that gives you a confidence.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. There's so many opportunities out there now these days, that people can create their own music and be online and have a presence and share their music with people. And that's sometimes how I find music of people that we perform. I found one of the songs that "This Is What Democracy Looks Like." I found scrolling Instagram and saw a blurb, a clip of this group and singing this song. I said, "Oh, this is cool. Let me look into it." And that's why we're doing it. So. Yeah.
Good. And that is a wonderful world. And thank you so much. And good luck on your concert and preparing for next year's big show. This has been another Conversations Different. We'll be back next week. Thank you for listening to Conversations Different, hosted by me, Inez Russell Gomez, editorial page editor for the Santa Fe New Mexican. Our weekly episodes would not be possible without your support. We hope you enjoy them and keep listening. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Consider signing up for our newsletter so you never miss an episode, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the Santa Fe New Mexican. Our podcast is available by visiting our website, santafenewmexican.com/podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Conversations Different with Inez Russell Gomez is produced by Matt Dalside and Ernesto Cisneros, published by the Santa Fe New Mexican, a local and independent newspaper owned by Robin Martin.